Hey guys, welcome to our Wednesday show. Hemp is Hope. We're so glad that y'all can tune in with us tonight. Our guest is not on yet, so if she do not show up, then we're gonna talk to y'all about other stuff. And so, one of the things that I talked about a client with today, which of course goes with everything I pretty much do, is CBD and hemp and health and wellness. And so we're gonna kind of keep it on that same topic, right? And so, did you want to start off with something, Will? First, y'all see Will like y'all gonna get this information in. He out and about. He dedicated.
I'm definitely dedicated. Um, Welcome to Hemp is Hope, not dope. We appreciate you for tuning in on the broadcast live, or if it's a replay, make sure you hit type in replay in the comments. I apologize for the darkness, but I am a multi-sports dad with three children that are in the track and one in karate. So I'm all over the place. And I also needed to go look at a car today that I can't look at tomorrow because I'm working all day. So, with that being said, I got involved as far as a consumer of CBD product, mainly because I have a son that has Asperger's syndrome. It's on the autism spectrum, one of the spectrums of autism. And he was my biggest frustration in life. I was like, what am I going to do to get him under control? Because his spectrum of autism, the his range of emotions goes to one extreme end to another. He might be happy or so like uh thrilled about something that he might be bashful about his happiness, and he'll be like, it be, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's trying to hold his happiness back, but then he can go all the way to the other spectrum just like that, and he'll be sad, crying, or he'll have a mixture of frustration, and he'll be yelling and saying stuff like, why can't you just leave me alone? And you're just trying to ruin my life. So his emotions would be all over the place. And one of the companies that I've dealt with in the past, that I've met the CEO, I've been to the company headquarters and met the owners of the company. They came out with a, a oil in I think they call it the tincture drops. But anyway, the little droplet. They came out with that. They explained to me how it was like, highly filtered, very, very high quality product. And I had heard many times from various people that CBD helped kids with autism. So one day I ordered a bottle. I was hesitant because of the price, because this particular bottle that I bought, I mean, it's only about yay big, $110 a bottle retail, right? So I got it, and I was in the kitchen one day when it came, and I went and got my mail and everything. And my son, he's always in the kitchen. He likes to cook turkey bacon all the time. So I grabbed it. They say you're supposed to shake it up. Long story short, I was like, come here, boy, open your mouth. And
We're gonna try this.
I had a 500 milligram is what I purchased, and that's what I still purchase to this day, 2 years later. And I gave it to him, and to me, I noticed a difference in the very first day. I kept him on it for about 90 days, and from then till now, he's been off of it for over a year. Because I don't want to exaggerate, but over a year. He hasn't been on it for about 12 months until last week. I started him back on it last week because I started to see some of the more negative emotional swings. So last week, I actually started my son back on CBD, and my wife had bought this bottle for me, and it's actually a full spectrum bottle. So before we just had the broad spectrum, but because I'm pretty sure I have PTSD with my son, just like from the military. Um, and even though I was unsure about starting him on the full spectrum because of my past experience with him, when I see his mood start to shift, I
Right.
can't take it going back to those crazy mood swings and him crying on the floor and just being in a low energy state of mind. So I started him back on it. So we're doing good. We've been having a good week. Um, he'll look at me funny when I tell him to, turn the TV off or turn the game off, but it's not like a swing of the pendulum from the whole, south to the north or the east to the west, as Drake would say, from 0 to 100 real quick. So anyway, that's my major experience with CBD, and it's been helping me a lot with inflammation. Getting up in the morning after a long, hard day's work, I can move around quicker. I can instantly feel it, the difference when I wake up the next morning, and I'm not getting out of the bed like I'm 90 years old and stiff like a 40-year-old Buick.
So I love it. Thank you, Jada Marie, for tuning in. Thank you, Isaac, for tuning in. If y'all have any questions, just go ahead and drop them below. We would definitely love to answer them. If anybody else tune in, we're definitely here to answer any questions. And we definitely appreciate you. And one thing you said was about being proactive. As soon as you saw the signs of your son about to start going backwards, you was like, hold up, let me put him back on the CBD. And that's what I love. I'm very proactive with my health. And if you do any type of research, if you have headaches, almost everything goes back to inflammation. Almost all of it. All goes back to some sort of inflammation inside our bodies. And so I looked up like some fruits and vegetables and things you can eat and drink to actually like helpful information. And like marshmallows, I like marshmallows. Mushrooms
Mushroom.
actually helps with inflammation. That's a mushrooms. Yeah,
Mushroom.
mushrooms have inflammation, and we have a coffee that I drink that helps with inflammation. So I do that every morning with my CBD. So I'm proactive with my health. Did you know green tea actually helps with inflammation?
Right. Green
Uh,
tea. We should be drinking green tea instead of the brown or the black teas. The green tea is going to be generally healthier and safer for you. And it can also go into your blood type. So that's on a whole nother note, knowing what to drink and
yeah,
eat for your blood type. But definitely for most of us, green tea is going to be the healthier, safer route.
absolutely. And so we just want to educate y'all on letting y'all know that you have to be proactive with your health. And we want y'all to do the research. We want y'all to look into it because CBD and hemp oil products is overall better for your health than taking the other medications that has the list of all the organs that could and would and maybe fail if you
Most likely.
continue to take the other medications. And so we say that if you have anxiety, you know, if you have, I have fibromyalgia, I have gastric paralysis, like I have such a list of autoimmune. I feel like I'm the commercial and da 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 and da 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 da, right? But what I've noticed is just the CBD kind of curves all of them. Why? Because they all kind of backbone off of inflammation. They all kind of piggyback off of each other. So, like you said, if you could just cure one, you maybe can help with a lot of your other disorders. So I don't see any questions that we have. This might be the quickest show we ever had. Uh, I guess, guys, I'll go into why I started Hemp is Hope. So if anybody watching it knew, um, so I started Hemp is Hope because I am a mother, I am a wife, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I got to the point in my life to where I was getting up every morning and have to get into something called a sauna. It's an infrared sauna. Some people use it for weight loss, but I was using it for my pain disorder. And so I would get it in the morning. I would drink my CBD coffee, and I would get in it twice a day. And it would so help my muscles. It would help my inflammation. And it was something that I was doing on the daily just to live a regular life. And when I say a regular life, some people who have pain disorders, y'all understand that we have pain every day. So when people be like, oh, living a best life, like for us, the bottom of my feet hurt on days. My hands hurt. My lashes hurt. Our hair follicles hurt. So anybody who have fibromyalgia, arthritis, uh, I have gastroparesis, which means I have a stomach disorder, which means for no reason my stomach just decided to stop pumping. So it stopped working. So I have food. We're not even gonna go there, okay? I have some issues that be going on, okay? And so it causes me to not eat, not want to eat. It causes me to vomit. What happens when you vomit? It causes you to be nauseous. It causes you to be dizzy. It causes you to have headaches because you're not getting the nutrition that your body needs. But then I can't eat to get the nutrition. Why? Because I don't feel well, right? And so it's a vicious cycle that continues. And so I've learned to be proactive with my health. So I stop it before I get ill. And you're like, well, how do you stop it? Because you start figuring out the red flags. What causes you to flare up? What causes your stomach to have issues? What causes your pain? Right? And so I'm proactive. So I have not been in my sauna wheel since I want to say 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
And the only thing I added to my new regimen is I've been doing my coffee for a minute. I added the 1,500 drops of CBD.
Three times the power of minds.
Let me tell you, I went to the big dog. I was like, you know what? I'm finna up the ante in this thing. And so I went to the 1,500 CBD. Now I did go up. I did go to the broad spectrum. What's the other one called? So I went to
Full
the full
spectrum.
spectrum.
Full
I went,
spectrum.
I went to the full spectrum. And then I do have some gummies that I keep in my purse. I call them my emergency gummies, okay? Because it takes about 20 minutes for them to kick in. So that's why they call it emergency gummies. And so that's the only thing that I added. And so, guys, y'all have to understand, if you know yourself, you know before you get in the car if you're gonna have anxiety issues, grab you some gummies that doesn't have THC in them. You know, let me take this so I can drive and not be so anxious, and so I won't be so stressed out. Because being stressed out causes high blood pressure, which causes heart issues.
Which raises cortisol levels, which makes you
Ooh,
get obesity faster and all that. It's like a
and
domino effect.
I was just about to. It's a domino effect. When you raise your blood pressure, it affects your heart. He talked about the cortisone, which I didn't even think about going there. Every time you have anxiety or you have depression and what else what else raise your cortisone? There was something else I was gonna say too.
The stress, basically
Stress,
stress.
all those raise your cortisone. And when you raise your cortisone, guess what happens? It They say it makes you gain weight in your midsection.
Right.
Ain't that the worst place to gain your weight? And so I promise you guys, it's all a domino effect. And so all we want to do is to help you. Is to help you boom, kick everything off in the beginning. And it just helps your life just be so much better. Hemp is
And
so
like Rachel said, be proactive about it. Don't sit back and watch like you're on the sideline just watching, because every day your body needs to be replenished. And most of us, what has happened is our bodies have been depleted of the nutrients, vitamins, minerals, herbs, and trace elements that our bodies require to function at its maximum efficiency. And our endocannabinoid system, which is the system in our body that CBD and hemp products help to build up and promote, has been depleted because the world has not educated us on this. We got educated on the 4 food groups, but how is that working out for us?
I'm gonna leave that one alone. I didn't even know about this system. I can't even I always tap the word, so I'm gonna leave it alone. And when I learned about it, I was like, what? So let me tell y'all, I I hate that the lady didn't make it in today about the ADHD, but we definitely gonna get y'all the information on that. And then I think April's coming in a little bit later. She jumped in on time. She got some information going on for us too. Guys, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And it was something I wanted to say before we get off. And let me tell you something. A lot of people be like, oh, CBD doesn't work. Let me explain something to you. CBD is not like look at April. Hey April.
Hi.
Hey boo, how are you?
Hey, bro.
Sorry.
You're good. You're
Yeah.
good. I want to say one thing real quick. The reason why, and I'm gonna use people who've been on medications for so long. When you're a person who's been on pain medication for so long, you're so used of the, and this, don't, please don't take this wrong. I want you to listen to me because it's coming from a good place. You're so used to being on a medication that's so strong that it knocks you out and it takes so much of your life away. And then you get up and you start life again, and then you take that medication again and it knocks you out. CBD is a way that you're able to live life without having to be knocked out. I'm telling you from a person who, when I used to cry, I used to take all the pain I could take when I couldn't take no more pain, no more. I would come home and my husband would wrap me up as much because when I have my most pain, I like to be warm, and I would take Tramadol, something with codeine in it, whatever the strongest they gave me at the time, and I would pop those pills, those muscle relaxers, and I would sleep for 6 to 8 hours. And those are 6 or 8 hours, days of my life that I was missing back to back to back because I was just in too much pain to do any more life. I do not have to do that anymore. That's why I'm such an advocate for hemp is hope.
Yeah.
You don't have to miss so many moments of your life if you're proactive with your health. April, we did not talk about ADHD today because nobody did any research. If they have anybody, a professional, do you have any information about ADHD? And if not, we're going to talk a little bit about your story before we get off.
Oh, I've got a ton of information on ADHD.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Well, on a real quick a success story from today is I have my cousin who's been having she's been getting diagnosed with a lot of things. COPD is one of them, and fibromyalgia, and she's having a lot of neck issues too, inflammation into her back, probably because of fibromyalgia, but no one can give her any answers because they're just saying it's fibromyalgia. So anyway, she started taking the CBD today, just today. And I tried to tell her, just be aware, like it could take 2 weeks to get like real side effect or real noticeable relief. She texted me in the afternoon and she said, I love this stuff. My back has not been hurting today. My neck feels a million times better. I feel a million times better. And I'm like, wow, that same day. Like usually, you know, the mental benefits don't kick in for up to like a week or two. And she's like, no, I feel like amazing already. And I'm like, I told you. And she's like, I don't know why I waited so long. I'm like, I've been telling you.
I'm so glad because I'm not gonna lie. I am in a fibromyalgia group. Yeah. And it's so depressing in that group.
It's so depressing.
So depressing.
I'm in a chronic pain group
because
too.
We're like the bottom, we're like the slime of the dust. We're like, nobody really cares about us, right?
Oh.
And so people just dismiss our disorder. The doctors actually dismiss our disorder. And there's so many people now crying about their spouses and their children and how their children make them feel, how their spouse make them feel. And I just want to go in there and go, try that CBD! Try that CBD!
No, because they don't listen. A lot of people truly don't listen. So
they don't
I don't know
listen.
When Messenger became like public, there's these certain groups that like I'll just have messages from out of nowhere that I never signed up for. And one of them was a chronic pain group. And I just go in there like every couple of days and go, CBD, CBD. I use CBD. Oh, you have that? So do I. CBD. And then like, because what it is it's such a long stream. I just see people going in there just complaining, or this pill, that pill, and talking about how doctors aren't giving them pills as much. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all, could you just like, please try the CBD? Like, it's crazy.
I'm not even telling you this. This is a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. my husband, he forget I have the thing. He's like, he didn't got in the room and got himself together. I'm like, I have my podcast. And he's like, oh, because because he knows Wednesdays he snuggles in the bed. I'm
Right.
usually in the bed on Wednesday nights. So he come in there with all his little stuff, and I'm like, I got the podcast. He's like, oh yeah, and so he comes back in. I feel kind of bad, but I gotta get this out. Like I gotta get this information out, and sometimes we have to sacrifice. And this is a sacrifice. It's only 30, 45 minutes.
Poor hubby sacrificing his CBD, rubbing down. They got that new CBD,
Relieve,
massage.
revive.
You know what? I bought. Let me tell y'all. We don't want to take up too long because April only got like 15 minutes really. Because I want to hear some stuff about ADHD. Guys, I bought a cream with CBD in it. Do you know I haven't had to use it? That's a lie. I opened it once, and I only opened it because I bought it.
Yeah.
And I use it because people with fibromyalgia, we swell up a lot. So like behind my knees, my elbows, I swell up a lot. And so I just want to use it one time just to have it. But I really haven't had to use it. So, but still, yeah, I bought me some too. All right.
I had some that actually is pretty good. The CBD creams. It was legit, not gonna lie. It was really good. Okay, so let me grab my notes real quick. Okay, let me grab my notes really quick.
So I'm so glad about your testimony. So I have a few people I need to talk to this week. A girl I know, while you're looking for your notes, her dad has fibromyalgia, so I'm talking to her today. It's a few people who I know who got some pain disorders. I'm like, yes, we're gonna say the word, baby. We got y'all. We got you.
Okay, so the reason that ADHD is very, very highly diagnosed in children, right? They don't usually diagnose it too much in adults, or they do, but it gets overlooked as depression, compulsive disorder. Like they give you every other reason why it can't be that, and a lot of times they don't really know how to accordingly like prescribe to it. So they'll give you Adderall that won't be the correct dosage for you. So it's a very big like it's like a teeter-totter. So they have to like mess with your dosage a lot before they even get a lot of the prescription drugs correct for ADHD. And that's just normal. It's been going on for a long time. So with children, they are immediately put them on that. But a lot of times when you put a child on a narcotic, it makes their youth and innocence kind of disappear. Like they get on the Adderall, they become kind of zombie-like. They're not their creative self. They're not all those things. So when that happens, they a lot of times it suppresses their appetite. Like there's just so many things. It creates depression. Yeah, that's awesome. So there's the receptors all over our body from head to toe. Most of them are located into our brains, and a lot of them are located in our gut. And they always say your gut is like your second brain. So when these receptors go into our bodies, into our endocannabinoid system, in case anyone's forgotten, we have an endocannabinoid system. It's a neurotransmitting system in our body. It's one of the largest ones we have in our body. And the CBD cannabinoid in the CBD oil works hand in hand with the cannabinoids that our bodies produce. We have receptors, CB1 and CB2, where the cannabinoids go right to. A lot of them are located in the brain and have been found to be centrally located in the part of the brain where ADHD is usually like triggered. So our bodies, most people's bodies like stop making or producing, or we damage our bodies or we don't have enough of it anymore. And the CBD replenishes what we're lacking of. So it works with what our body has, and it kind of goes in like building blocks to fill in the gaps of what we're missing. And in ADHD patients, it's been targeted that a lot of that, like what we don't have, goes right to those receptors. So that is why cases of ADHD will appear to be like non-existent after CBD oil, because it goes in and it kind of gives it the building blocks of the foundations in those areas where ADHD kind of exists. So that's a lot of the reason why. I mean, it seems like it's repetitive because most of the things we say it's all really the same. The receptors go into where you're lacking and it fills in the blocks. That is why. But a lot of the problem is sometimes ADHD gets misdiagnosed for anxiety, for depression. So a lot of people don't know they have it, which is why they'll say, okay, well, CBD works for all three of them anyway, So you don't have to play
Right.
games with your medications. So you don't have to try the antidepressant first. You don't have to try the Adderall first, the Ritalin. You could try CBD and it targets all three disorders. And a lot of times the three disorders work hand in hand. So it's kind of like, it's crazy because there's not a lot of research with CBD in children because obviously we don't test on children. Like that's not what we
Right.
do. But there is a lot more in adults. So
I agree with what you were saying because it kind of works hand in hand because I don't really claim a lot of all the things that I have, but I have epilepsy. I have the
oh yeah, and
seizures.
it's huge with epilepsy. It
It
calms
does.
it calms the flares.
It does. And so with the seizures, with the fibromyalgia, with my stomach disorder, um, I have what is it called? Renault. I don't know what it's called. My hands turn blue.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have an EpiPen because I'm like supersonic allergic to certain things. I'm never gonna tell people what I'm all allergic to, so I can be like, I hate her. Oh, let me give her some of this, right? And so you'll never know what I'm allergic to, but I have an EpiPen. And so with all that being said, because I have so many issues, my CBD regimen has totally like simmered. You know what I mean? Like so many things down because like you were saying, it just covers such a broad spectrum.
Well, what a lot of what they're saying in the studies with ADHD is that they think that it's not proven, it's just studies. So there is a chance that ADHD can be endocannabinoid deficiency, which means like your body is lacking of it, so it needs it. You know what I mean? And because of that, it creates all these things inside your brain that triggers and does other things. So it could be an endocannabinoid deficiency. There's not 100%. There's studies on it and there's facts, but they're not, not as much studying has been done on it because this is kind of becoming more and more evolving. They're learning more and more. Research is getting more and more. So, but they are saying that ADHD can be an endocannabinoid deficiency, which is why it's almost like CBD heals it almost. Like you feel like you're healing it because it's not like suppressing it. It's like, it's like got a healing power to it. It's replenishing and absorbing. So that's the best part about CBD. Yes, like people go, well, now you're taking something else or you're gonna have to take it forever, which maybe, you never know. I don't know. It depends on how your body produces it. But there's a healing power in the cannabinoid that when it goes in, it sticks. It stays. It stays longer than what the effects of a medication. The medication, those come in every 24 hours, they wear off.
They want to keep making so much money off of you.
Right. Where CBD oil has been proven that it's stayed and replenished that system and actually stayed in the endocannabinoid system and takes longer to dissipate than what a medication does. So that's another really cool thing.
His son was off of it for a year.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's healing power.
For a year.
There's literally healing power. So that's a proven fact right there is that your son's not
this is my issue child right here.
Who was on it enough to replenish his system. I love that. Hi.
My boy. My middle child.
Love it.
And not to tell anybody not to get vaccinated.
No.
But we don't vax.
Yeah.
We didn't vax our children, but they gave him a vaccination without our permission at a doctor's office. I don't even know what it was. We cannot go back to that doctor's office because we don't vax. They kicked us out. The doctor himself came in one day and pulled us to the side, put us in some other room. Like they got the little police room at the doctor's office. The doctor pulls us, me and my kids, tells us we can't come back. I was upset, but I was like, you know what? I'm glad that
means I don't need to be
my
here.
children was with me so they could hear the doctor and what he said. That helped me with my frustration because I was like, well, we told y'all not to vaccinate our son because he's 13. He'll be 14 next month. So this was, 15, 14 years ago. They still had mercury in the vaccines. So my mentors would always say, if you're going to vaccinate, wait until your child is between 3 and 4, because I hope y'all can still hear me because my thing is spinning.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I had a lot of mentors would say, wait until your child is between 3 and 4, because if something happens, you can't sue the medical, organization or whatever, because their defense is going to be, well, you don't know how far along your child would have been.
I got you.
So that's like a powerful
I've
secret.
also in the journey of vaccinations, they say to do, whenever I've vaccinated, which I don't do like any of the extras like the COVID and the flu. I've never done all those, but I have done the scheduled ones, and I always did one at a time and preservative free, because the preservatives are a lot of times what people are react to, and if you do 5 at a time, you can't figure out if you did have something happen, what caused.
Right? How you gonna pinpoint something?
So just so y'all know, this is Hemp is Hope. We're not going against anybody who get vaccinated.
No, we are no, and we're all different views in this group. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we all exactly.
All about education and awareness and just opening up your consciousness to what is Ice Cube and all those guys would say what really goes on. Just say, we're not trying to influence you to be hip hop or to be against anti-police or to be anti-vax or to be anti-big pharma, but pay attention to what's really going on. Do your
due diligence.
Why all of a sudden
knowledge
you have all
power.
These millions of veterans like myself who the VA system has over the years systematically put us on medication after medication after medication, negative pain cream medication after medication that causes liver damage, heart palpitations, ulcers, and all these other negative side effects, kidney malfunction, liver disease and cirrhosis. Why all of a sudden are a lot of us veterans starting to use CBD and more holistic ways? And I'm very thankful. I'm sorry that the VA system has gone through the big pharma as it has, and unfortunately a lot of veterans have been harmed, just like regular civilians have been harmed by medication. But now the VA, once again, I'm so thankful, they actually are paying for me to have like acupuncture.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of insurance companies are taking that on as well. It's a very new thing, because I do acupuncture. I haven't in a while, but I do for my migraines, and they didn't cover it. And he said that they were going to be covering it soon.
Yeah, okay. And I have a better sense of well-being feeling after my acupuncture.
Yeah.
And no negative side effects.
Guys, we're just trying to show y'all that we're not knocking any. We just want y'all to understand that we've been down the rabbit hole, as I like to call it, of medication after medication after medication after medication. I went from no medications to they cannot figure out why would I need high blood pressure medicine, and I would weigh 120.
They gave me low blood pressure medicine for my migraines, and I've never had high blood pressure. I had low.
Yes, just down the road, and it just kept growing and growing. And I was like, I got to put a stop to the draw of pills that I have. Mm-hmm. Like, I have to figure out what can I do. And so I just started just drinking and eating more healthy. And I'm starting to go into, like, I'm starting to make CBD products. Like, I'm really dabbing into you got to be proactive. If I'm going to eat, we need to start using food as fuel.
Yeah, I shared a recipe with CBD in it the other day. But you know what? Another thing I would like to state really quick while we're talking about this is a lot of people keep saying to me, I don't want to get high. I don't want to get high. CBD does not activate the same regions in the brain as THC. It does not cause a high, because it needs to be understood that because it's in an oil, so it's in a delivery system, and the way it is delivered is not activate the same region of the brain that THC does when you smoke or ingest it. So I just want to clear that up again. I want to say that almost every time, because people still have a hard time understanding broad spectrum and full spectrum. And most of the time, full spectrum doesn't even have enough THC to make you fail a drug test.
Right.
They make it broad spectrum for those who need that reassurance or maybe certain work related drug test. But even so, with THC in it, there is medical compounds that you benefit from it. When you get it without it, you get without those couple compounds. Still beneficial, but it is not the same. It will not activate the same region of the brain. Sorry, just wanted to put
Thank
that
you
on.
for
Right.
that.
It's
April.
not what they call that big word, psychoactive. It's
Yeah. There's
CBD is not a
Guys,
psychoactive.
euphoric. They call it euphoric. Euphoric high.
I wouldn't even be able to take it if it did, because I think I can fly on drugs. So I'll be right here to my woohoo. So no, it does not give you that effect. It does not. It gives a person. I just want to be able to live a life like everybody else. I want to be able to get up like everybody else and be able to walk down steps and walk up steps. I want to be able to walk the beach. I want to be able to live a normal life and not be in pain all the time. And there are so many people that's just like me who want to be able to live that lifestyle without having to be heavily medicated and take 4 to 6 hours of our life away because we're asleep. Just
That's
to
why they
want
call
to
us zombies.
Huh?
You know,
That's why they call us zombies.
my childhood was surrounded by those exact type people. My aunts, my grandmas, and I think it was that era. You guys probably can say the same thing. Everyone was just on so many medications. Like my one aunt, my husband's aunt, actually, she's like an aunt to me too. She died at a very young age. I mean, maybe barely 50. And they told me stories about her from like their childhood. And she was one of the most intelligent, well put together women. And by the time I met her, she's still very intelligent, but she was like becoming a zombie. Like she was not herself. She could barely exist. She was just it was out of it. And towards the end of her life, it was just getting worse and worse and worse, where she wasn't there anymore. Like the lights were on and no one was home. And they always used to say, like, we talk about it, like, you don't want to be on 16 medications. Like, I'm not going to say, but and it's sad. And that was like a common thing. Like you opened up the medicine cabinet at your grandma's house and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And
I remember it coming up too. You go to relatives' house, and I grew up in the hood. Most of the bathrooms had a mirror right there over the sink, and you open it up.
Yeah.
And that was the medicine cabinet.
That was the medicine cabinet.
It's like full of pill bottles.
Oh.
So sad stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
so not knocking the medical industry, but just getting an awareness and a conscious of what actually happens in the medical industry. Okay, this is what they do. They medicate and they operate. They medicate and they operate. They medicate you until they can't medicate you anymore, and then it's time for a little surgery, and then it's time for a little more surgery, and it's time to remove something. So just pay attention. If that's the route you want to go that route, but just pay attention. Pay attention to the people who are getting surgeries and sick based on whatever disease, okay? Dis-ease, which just means that part of your body or your part of your, organ is at a dis-ease, is not at ease, okay? And understand that the herbs and trace minerals and things like CBD and hemp products put your body back at ease and help put your body back in a natural state of balance.
I mean, there's definitely a need for doctors. You just got to know what doctor's right for you. There's naturopaths out there. There's MDs that are DOs as well. My doctor's an MD with a DO, and he operates more like right in the middle. He's the guy who's going to try to get you there holistically first. And if your body just isn't equipped to get you there, or it's not enough, then he might recommend a medication for a temporary fix to get you to a good place. And that's why I like him, because there is some people who might need a medication. That's why it's there, but you don't need 15. And you might need it temporarily. Like my doctor was like, when I was going through my neck stuff, he's like, I can give you an anti-inflammatory. Let's get your neck down. Let's target what the problem is, and let's get you in a good path so you could get off it in 3 months. That was a good plan. I thought that was respectable. He's not trying to keep you on a med your whole life. So it's all about just doing your due diligence. Is your doctor prescription happy? Is he, let's fix your life happy? What are you eating? When they ask you, what's your diet look like? What's your daily look like? Those are good signs that your doctor cares more than just a prescription.
Absolutely.
You'll know. And they don't, not all doctors are painted the same. So it's just a matter of who works for you, and if they're on your side or if they're so stuck in the system, really.
Absolutely.
So
Guys, thank y'all for tuning in today. I definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all tune in next week on Wednesday. We'll be at the same place at 7 o'clock. If you have any questions, please feel free to go underneath any of our YouTubes and any of our Facebooks and leave us a question. We will go back and read them. And when we come back live, we will definitely answer them. If we do not know the answer, we will not make the answer up. We will go research it and we will find it. If you are
thank you
educated,
guys so much for your stories and information. Well, that was awesome.
if there,
I said thanks for sharing your stories. Well, with like your son and all that stuff. Thank you for sharing.
Thank
we
you,
definitely
April.
appreciate you. I appreciate both of y'all for being on the show. That y'all always bring a wealth of knowledge. If y'all want to be on the show, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to come host the show, we come host with us. Let us know. Drop it below. Thank y'all so much. Come on, Will, send us out. We're professionals.
All right.
Send us out.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on the show and hanging out with us tonight on Hemp is Hope, Not Dope. I definitely want you guys to know something else about hemp products, because I would like for somebody with some money in the building industry, as these home prices have went up. I want them to know that they can build hemp bricks. So there's a thing called hemp bricks, that the bricks are so efficient that in most areas you don't even have to put the fiberglass insulation into the homes if you build a home out of hemp bricks. And in some areas they don't even use AC in the homes. So just want to put that out there. But everybody just look it up, research hemp bricks. You're going to see some amazing stuff that's probably going to blow your mind.
April.
Love it.
All right. Thank you, Jada Marie. We appreciate you. Good night, guys.
All right. Good night.